It is grilling season, and July is the peak month for grilling fires. Okay, so roughly half of the injuries involving grills, you guessed it, are with thermal burns. Today we're joined by Matt Gross-Close, fire and life safety educator with the Greensboro Fire Department. All right, so with like thermal burns, I think we all think we know how to deal with the grill, and then it just kind of common sense goes out the window.
Well, people make mistakes. They decide to use something that's a little too short to try to flip that hamburger or that chicken. Use a longer set of tongs, maybe even utilize an oven mitt when you're outside.
Okay, let's talk about propane grills. You know, if you have a propane grill every single year before you start it up, and you may have already done it once already, you should really test to see if you have some kind of leak. And how do you do that?
Right, you can put soapy water over top of it to see if it bubbles up. You can turn it on and see if maybe you hear a hiss come out of it. But the last thing you want is to have a leak in there, get a flame source around it, and have a leak coming out of that line.
All right, so just spray like light soapy water or put light soapy water around each one of the tubes and stuff like that.
That's
Turn
correct.
it on and see if you got any little bubbles everywhere. All right, I asked you right before the break, how close is the grill to your house? So if this is your house, the table is your house, how far away should your grill be?
You certainly don't want to be this close because especially in a lot of modern homes, you're going to have soffit on the roof and you're going to have vinyl siding. You want to be about this far back. This is about 5 feet removed. Honestly, if you have a big enough deck or porch area, if you can go 10 feet away from the structure, please do it.
Okay, so that far away, people would be like, that sounds ridiculous. I need to keep it under my eaves, or I need to keep it under like my, structure so that the rain doesn't get it.
Well, think about if the wind starts blowing and you have a grease fire that starts on there and it gets on the side of your aluminum siding, or your vinyl siding rather, goes up the side of your house, starts to run across the roof line and everything, then your whole house is on fire. And definitely don't grill inside. Grilling is an outdoor activity.
Okay, so often people will be like, I got a whole bunch of people here. I'm just gonna pull it into the garage. I've got lots of space. It should be fine.
Certainly wouldn't advise that. Maybe if you have a pavilion or something that's open on each side, but I wouldn't put it inside.
Okay, 4th of July coming up shortly. When we're gonna do the sparklers and things of that nature, what's the one thing that we need to have at the house?
Well, have a bucket of water, disposable for any kind of fireworks that you are to put off. Make sure you put them far enough away from a structure. We did that example last summer where you had to make sure you do it far enough away. It's an even greater distance than when you're grilling.
Okay, and so having that bucket of water, have the kids actually put their sparklers and stuff in that water?
That's correct, and sparklers are where we see a lot of burn injuries, especially in children, because they ignite and burn so hot so quick, so close to those children's fingers.
Okay, we talked very briefly at the beginning of this newscast about carbon monoxide detectors. We talked about traveling with them, but anybody who has any kind of gas, anything, needs to have one in their house.
That's correct. Anybody who uses a wood-burning fireplace, anybody who has natural gas for their stove, for their hot water heater, everything else like that, needs to have a carbon monoxide alarm presence in their house. And also keep in mind that they expire. They last between about 7 to 10 years. You can get them where they both plug into the wall like this one, or where they can go up into the ceiling.
Okay, so that's a plug-in one. I just wanted people to see that. And it needs to be on the ground floor.
It actually doesn't matter as much. We
Okay.
used to talk a lot about how the carbon monoxide gas would rise or fall. It's going to pick it up either way, whether it's towards the ceiling or towards the ground.
All right, on Friday, the Greensboro Fire Department has an event for the community to attend. It's called Firefighter Friday. Let's talk about it. It's a free event.
That's correct, and it's one of the biggest events that we do every year. It's going to be down at Barber Park between 10:30 and 1:30. We're going to have our fire safety trailer out there. We're going to have a fire truck, fun and games for the kids. We'll be grilling hot dogs. Wonderful opportunity for the kids to come out and be more familiar with firefighters. We don't want them to be scared in the event that they ever have an emergency. We're just promoting that we're their friends.
I'm guessing that at least one of the big trucks is going to be there. The kids can look inside of it, see all the things.
Yes, and there's a fire hydrant there. We're going to allow them to flow some water out of one of the smaller hose lines and get to mimic doing what firefighters do.
Okay, so Barber Park, free on Saturday. Free on Friday. Speaking of which, we want to make sure that folks know that they can get these things probably too at the free event on Friday.
Are you talking about smoke alarms? Oh, this little book? So
Yeah.
This little book actually is a great thing that we offered to all of our 5th graders in the city of Greensboro. We taught a class this year to more than 3,000 5th graders. At more than 45 schools as a way as those students are getting more independent, starting to cook on their own and everything. That way they're more prepared for adulthood as they go into middle school.
Okay, and if there is someone who comes to the event and they're like, you know what, I really do need a smoke detector in my house.
I will have laminated cards with a QR code that they can sign up, and as long as they're a homeowner, we can send a fire truck to any homeowner in the city of Greensboro out to their house to help them get new smoke alarms.
Okay, Friday, Barber Park. All right, Tim Buckley, you heard Friday there's an event.